Hey guys, Ben here and welcome back to another video. Today we have some big news in regards to a future DCTV project that was supposed to be airing on HBO Max but has now moved. This is the second project in a matter of weeks that has moved away from HBO Max to a different streaming service, and this streaming service is not Netflix. It's not the same as Dead Boy Detectives, which I broke down, and maybe you guys saw that video about 2 weeks ago. So if you do go on to enjoy this video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future DCTV videos later this year. Okay, so the article that I'm going to be discussing is coming from The Hollywood Reporter. I'm going to leave the link in the description below to it. You can go read the article after you've watched this video if you want to get extra context as to what exactly is going on here. But nevertheless, we're going to break down everything that you need to know from this article. So this is the article title: Batman Caped Crusader moves to Amazon with 2-season order. So the series from J.J. Abrams, Matt Reeves and Bruce Timm was previously developed for HBO Max, now is moving to Amazon Prime Video, where it will continue its 2-season order that it got previously at HBO Max. So first things first, this is big news. This is another project, as I mentioned, moving over to another network, well, specifically a streaming service, and it's just another show that HBO Max doesn't want. Now, I don't know the exact reasons, and I'm sure this article is going to get into it and we will discuss that, but as far as you can tell from the outside, it's perhaps more cuts over at HBO Max and Warner Brothers deciding, no, we don't need this show, we could actually give it a new home somewhere else. And I'm wondering why they didn't go ahead and scrap it. I guess they saw the value in the project, even though that they didn't want to have it themselves, because maybe it was just a lot of money, and by selling it to a new place, Warner Bros. Would be getting paid a hefty chunk of money in order to get the licensing for this specific character. Obviously this is Batman, but also the show, because it's already been developed and it's going to be a property that isn't going to be airing on a Warner Brothers platform. So the article goes like this: Batman Caped Crusader has found a new home at Amazon. The streamer and retail giant has handed out a 2-season order for the animated series, which was originally set up at HBO Max. Caped Crusader landed at the streamer following Warner Bros. Animation parent company Warner Bros. Discovery scrapping the show in August. More than a year after it was ordered straight to series amid a round of cost-cutting. Other streamers including Netflix, Apple and Hulu also kicked the tires on the project that marks a reunion for executive producers J.J. Abrams and Matt Reeves, who previously collaborated together on the WB Network's beloved TV show Felicity. So there you have it. Let's break down this first bit before we move on to anything else. So this show was in fact scrapped last August, and I actually forgot about that. It slipped my mind because I feel like they threw away so many projects back in the summer when the new regime from Discovery was taking over and making changes at Warner Brothers. So the Caped Crusader, this Batman project, which is going to be an animated TV show, was scrapped, and I'm very happy to say that it's found a new home at Amazon where it will be having at least 2 seasons. Now, obviously this is an important project because this is to do with J.J. Abrams and Matt Reeves, obviously both people heavily related to DC and developing various projects here and there. Matt Reeves known for his Batman projects, including the new Penguin show that they are currently filming. I'm sure some of you guys have seen some photos from behind the scenes of that show. Also Bruce Timm, he worked on the original Batman the Animated Series, so this is just like the perfect lineup of people working on this show, so it was bound to always find a home. However, whether that home would be Amazon, Netflix or Hulu or Apple, I guess it just really came down to who put in the best offer and who really wanted the show. So let's continue with this article. The animated series hails from Bruce Timm, Abrams and Reeves and was sold to a streaming rival as part of Warner Bros.' efforts to monetize content by selling projects to third-party buyers. So that's actually a really big deal, because for a while they weren't doing that because they introduced HBO Max and it was the streaming wars. You know, when it was all starting kind of during the pandemic, everyone was keeping their content in-house and they didn't want to sell elsewhere. But this is very important for DC projects specifically, because these are 2 DC projects: Dead Boy Detectives going to Netflix, and now another DC show going to Amazon, a different streamer. So they are trying to capitalize on the IP that they've got and the shows that are in development and selling those projects to other buyers, which basically opens the doors more to other projects that aren't aligned to what James Gunn and Peter Safran are developing over at DC Studios. And these kind of Elseworlds projects like Batman Caped Crusader are luckily able to continue at these third-party streamers thanks to the new regime being open to this. And obviously their main reason is for monetization, for money, but this really opens the doors to different kinds of DC projects, so I really like this. Let's continue. Batman Caped Crusader, first announced in May 2021, is said to harken back to Tim's 1990s Batman the Animated Series, which still stands as a benchmark for the Dark Knight's animated storytelling. The first season will have 10 episodes. There is no confirmation of how long season 2 will be or even when this show is going to be released, but it's coming. Caped Crusader's move to Amazon comes after Zaslav revealed his film studio would develop more Lord of the Rings movies. Amazon coincidentally controls the TV rights to the Lord of the Rings franchise and now count on Warner's Batman as part of its service offerings. They say, "We are beyond excited to be working together to bring this character back to tell engrossing new stories in Gotham City," says Abrams and Reeves in a joint statement. When Caped Crusader was first announced, the series will be thrilling, cinematic, and evocative of Batman's noir roots. While developing deeper into the psychology of these iconic characters, we cannot wait to share this new world. They go on to say, for his part, Abrams has had a rough go of it lately at Warner Bros. Discovery. The prolific writer, director, and producer remains based at Warner's with a sizable overall deal, but has many of his bad robot projects scrapped as part of Warner Bros. Discovery's recent cost-cutting spree. So clearly nothing has been really working for J.J. Abrams in terms of like his relationship with Warner's. Even though he has a overall deal with them, they're still going ahead and cutting and scrapping a bunch of his projects. However, I would suppose that he's going to be pleased that this specific DC project is going ahead, and he's probably going to try and seek out other homes for his content that he was intending to create and release with Warner Brothers. So as I said the other day in my Netflix video to do with Dead Boy Detectives moving over to Netflix, it sets a precedent, and this sets a double precedent because we've had two projects in the span of 2 weeks that have moved from HBO Max, which is a Warner Brothers streaming service, to completely different third-party streaming services, Amazon and Netflix. And obviously the talk of the town has been to do with the Snyder Cut, and will it continue on like a streaming service? People were suggesting maybe it could go to Netflix. This is obviously going to be a big deal for those people who are rooting for the Snyderverse to continue elsewhere, because this is precedent for more projects moving in the future and for Warner Brothers selling rights to other networks who are unaffiliated with Warner Bros. Apart from special deals like this. So we're probably going to see it more and more because clearly they've realized it's a great monetary opportunity. And if you look at the CW and what they did with the Arrowverse in the past, typically a season of the show would end and then it would be released on Netflix, and they had an overall deal with them basically to transfer their content, their season, and bring it over to Netflix, and that was very lucrative for the CW. And in the case of the CW specifically, the reason why a bunch of Arrowverse shows have been cancelled is because the network's not profitable, and that was when the CW and Netflix stopped doing their deal, and basically all of the CW content would go over to Warner Brothers' streaming service because they wanted all their content in one place, and that was just a repercussion of the pandemic and everyone trying to grow their streaming service. But clearly right now HBO Max isn't in a great place. We know that Warner Brothers is considering making a different version of the streamer and basically reinventing it in a new way, because they can clearly see, you know, there is still a lot of value in selling your projects and having them elsewhere, because you're going to make a bunch of money on people buying your rights and having more, say, DC projects out there, because they're not going to be able to make tons of projects all at once. Even if it is at like HBO Max, it's in the films and also it's on the CW, because that's obviously very limited. That's like 2 to 3 places that they can actually put content that is DC related or anything else in their catalog. So by being open to selling to streaming services, that opens a lot of opportunities for more DC content to be released, and I think that is just a win-win for Warner Brothers. Even if they're not distributing it themselves, they are still benefiting because they get the fee when selling the project, and I presume they're selling the rights to the characters specifically for this one project. And if anyone else wants to do different characters, they would have to come and probably buy the rights from Warner Brothers again. And now I'm sure many other networks and streaming services are going to be interested in trying to get their pick at DC characters. So let's just quickly talk about this in regards to the Arrowverse, because clearly I love the Arrowverse, and Superman Lois is a show that we've been talking about for a while. We're not sure if it's going to be ending at the CW after this season or if it's going to get another season. It would make complete sense if there was another season because it's such a good show. It's really high quality, one of the best Superman shows ever. But with the CW right now, since they've been taken over by Nexstar, who are very uninterested in continuing their DC content that was originally a core part of the CW because they don't deem it to be valuable because it's not making enough money, it would make sense if maybe they sell the rights to Superman Lois so it can continue on a streaming service. Now, I don't know what streaming service that would be. The first one that comes to mind is, of course, Netflix, because of that past relationship that the CW had with Netflix and releasing their shows, and some of the shows are available in different countries around the world. So there's already precedent, and with these two shows moving, why can't Superman Lois do it? I think if it was cancelled, it would be such a shame. It's such a high quality show, as I said before, and I really feel like it has a lot of value, and the CW, if they're smart, they can make some good money off of it. Obviously, the CW doesn't own the rights to Superman and the main characters, but they are the ones producing the show. Yes, they're doing it alongside Warner Brothers, so it's a win-win for both companies because they'll both be making money, and that's all the CW cares about. Plus, Warner Brothers will be able to continue a really good show, but put it on another streaming service or network elsewhere where they don't really need to worry about it too much, because James Gunn and Peter Safran's DC Studios is obviously not going to be linked to the Arrowverse. However, they have said they are fine with Elseworlds projects. They're even developing some Elseworlds projects with different filmmakers like Matt Reeves with the Batman Part 2 and the HBO Max Penguin series. So I think it would be a huge shame to throw away the Arrowverse. And so if the CW does decide to cancel Superman Lois, I think with Batman Cape Crusader moving to Amazon and Dead Boy Detectives moving to Netflix, there is definitely the opportunity for Superman Lois to be sold elsewhere in order to survive another day. So that does it for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to leave a like and a comment. Also subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos. We're uploading daily right now, so go check out any videos. Just click on my channel page and you can watch anything. There is a lot of different content to do with many different topics. But for now, you can click on the top right corner of the screen to watch my latest video, and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.
I see red.